And 5, 4, 3.
Damn it!
Why are you saying damn it?
I heard you say 1.
Everyone else can't hear.
You whispered 1.
Am I not?
Let's do it over. Come on.
Why can't we just keep recording?
Because we're not recording, you dumbass.
Okay, stop it. Well, some people save the audio file, so technically it's recording.
All right,
just start over again.
Just go, dumbass.
And 5, 4, 3.
Hello, Internet, and welcome inside the VinnyMac's 9 Radio Show podcast, the most radioactive show on the planet. I am the one and only DJ Vince VinnyMac, as always, coming to you live, and today we're actually in the home studio, and I'm joined with the one and only MC Percolator.
Coming at you with the facts.
That's right, he does that, unlike last time. I'm just kidding.
Well, what? I'm not a fibber.
No.
Don't you tell tell people that.
At the beginning of last show, when we were testing the audio to make sure everything was fine and the microphones were working correctly, he said that he was coming at us with misinformation, and that was just kind of a joke. But anyway, as always, the VinnyMac's 9 Radio Show podcast, we simulcast on multiple platforms like, of course, Shoutcast, Hitbox, YouTube Gaming, Twitch TV, and, of course, our VIP stream on Livecast using our own platform at VinnyMacRadio.com. And we're now using Beam, a very exciting platform I'm very excited about. Microsoft acquired them recently.
Heck yeah.
And to be honest with you, everything that they're doing is just pushing live streaming in the right direction. I've always said that having just about real-time live streaming is a must in order to be able to interact with your people.
Yeah, I always felt like with Twitch you have like a 9-second delay.
Yeah, and 9 seconds...
With everything you do. You can send somebody a text message and then they won't read it and they won't come back to you and you won't even see it on your computer as they read it.
Exactly.
Like 9 seconds later.
And in fact, you can take a look at the video every once in a while and it'll show you how far behind the stream actually is. It's usually a couple of seconds. Mm-hmm. It's usually not as bad as 9 seconds, but it'll show in the bottom left-hand corner every once in a while. The stream is 3 seconds behind or whatever, depending upon how behind it's really getting. Based upon the actual real stream. But I'm very excited to debut the season finale, episode 1309, on Beam tonight, because Beam, like I said, is a very exciting platform that I am just looking forward to using it in the future for whatever we may be using it here. Mm-hmm. For those of you guys who are brand new, the Game Chumps crew is a group of content creators and broadcasters that was started by me many years ago, but we never really formulated the group, at least officially, online, because we're kind of an underground group, so most of what we do is just something that we do in real life, and we just kind of share it with the people when we have time, because we're all very busy people. Mm-hmm. As most of you guys out there know, I started in radio broadcasting almost 2 decades ago, and although I'm not doing that professionally, I still do some things every now and again and do some consulting. And of course I do the podcast because it was requested by popular demand that I continue to do something along the lines of what I used to do on the VinnyMac's 9 Radio Show on FM. And I'm trying to continue that when I can. And of course MC Percolator, he's very busy. What are you doing these days?
Oh, geez. Well, recently I've been working a lot more at my main job, which I don't know if I think I've said it before on the podcast. I'm a draft technician at a local beer distributor out in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Now how does that equate into content creation?
Beer's tangible content. I can put in my mouth and it tastes pretty good, and then I like it a lot.
Okay.
The content creation is in like, I'm currently working on some projects, like a small talk show, and then another one involving virtual reality.
Now remember, a lot of the things that people, especially in content creation, are usually under non-disclosure or NDA.
Oh yeah, but this is all me, not my private project.
Right, but the reason why I bring that up is because isn't some of that under NDA to some degree?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little myself. I don't want to give too much away.
Well, and that's why I bring that up, because some of it is under non-disclosure, some of it isn't, and of course you want to keep it a little bit under wraps until you can bring it to the limelight.
Yeah, so
once things get together.
That's why I'm only giving a little bit, but that's currently what I'm in concept with, and content creation for my job. I guess I create draft systems, so you can magically pour beer from a keg into your glass.
Well, of course, we're all certainly interested in that, but I was more concerned about, the type of things that you're going to be doing in the future, which for you is just kind of getting off the ground. So I realize you can't really talk a whole lot about it just because there's a lot in the unknown at this point. Yeah. And that's totally fine. And so
once it picks up, I'm really glad to fill everyone in on what's going on there. But recently I've really been working a lot. Like this past 2 weeks, I put on 107 hours at work for my 8 to 5, and that didn't really go from 8 to 5. It kind of turned into like a 7:30 to a 7 kind of thing in most days.
That's right. And I mean, I myself usually put in at least 120 hours in 2 weeks' time.
All right, way to tell everybody that your penis might be a little larger than mine. We're not going there.
Hey, we already talked earlier that I'm not trying to brag when I say this. I'm just trying to let the people know how things happen to go around here.
I'm going to just eat this donut.
That's okay. And remember, MagFest is a donut. That's why we have them. One of the best things I saw on social media from one of my close friends about why MagFest is a donut is because, of course, the Ferris wheel in National Harbor. Oh, because it looks like a donut, right?
If you're hungry enough.
I think it looks like a donut, especially when it's all lit up at night.
I mean, yeah, if you're living off of ramen noodles
anyway,
for MagFest, damn it, I need another one.
I thought it was pretty hilarious when I saw that at the very end of MagFest last year.
And you can't afford the Peeps or the stupid sandwiches they try to sell. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it.
Cheers to the beers, because me and MC Percoleta, we have our own choice of beverages. Of course, I have...
Please, call me MCP.
Okay, MCP. Hashtag MCP, that is a thing that we do on the show.
You just read my mind, because I was like, please, call me hashtag MCP.
And his tagline is that he comes at you with the facts. So, of course, I'm drinking your typical Guinness.
No, that's my voicemail.
It's your voicemail. Drinking typical Guinness, and what are you having tonight?
I'm having all right, we're going to get super beer snobbish over here. But this is a little out of season. It's a Sierra Nevada Beer Camp collaboration, which the breweries that were collaborating was Austin Beer Works, BU Tech, Bayou? B-A-Y-O-U, Bayou Tech Brewing, Creature Comforts Brewing Company, Funky Buddha Brewery, and Wicked Weed Brewing Company for the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp. It's a what they call a sweet, sunny South table beer. It's a little bitter. It's kind of sweet at the same time, kind of the mix between a session IPA and a saison. It's kind of weird. It's a little bitter, a little tart. It's an interesting beer. I like it.
Awesome. And of course, I can't say enough how much I like Guinness. It's my favorite. Gotta have it, especially when I'm traveling.
I can get you a much better nitro beer.
You probably can, but when I'm traveling, I definitely love, especially when I'm traveling, love to have at least a 32-ounce tall glass.
That would be wonderful, actually. That sounds pretty tasty.
And I love it. So,
or just go left-hand nitro stout in a bottle. You don't need a widget.
So Matt Sarossi Johnson, a.k.a. Rossi, because we do got to keep on topic a little bit. He also does quite a bit of YouTube content creation.
Oh, yeah.
And he is kind of traveling right now. He's kind of between Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, and parts of North Carolina. And he's currently trying to make up his mind as far as where he wants to reside for at least the near future.
Yeah, and that's all for personal reasons and professional reasons. I don't want to go into detail on why, but he's kind of on his own journey right now.
Sure.
And we're definitely hoping for the best for him.
And that's the thing that's true about all of us. We're all on our own little journey. We all have our own things that define what that journey is and how we're trying to do it. And it's cool that we have you along with us. And make sure that if you are tuned in, that you're with us on beam.pro/GameChumpsCrew live. That's where we're coming to you tonight. And you can also check out our website at GameChumps.tv and VinnyMacRadio.com for all the stuff that we have. VinnyMacRadio.com is certainly where the most up-to-date information is kept, in addition to all of our social media at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the like. We try to get the archives of the show up as quickly as possible, but as we just said, we're all very busy people, so that typically doesn't happen for a little while. So
for anybody who is actually a fan of me, please subscribe. No,
subscribe.
I have easily neglected my Instagram, my Twitter account. I have not been on them in quite some time.
That's okay.
I'm strictly Facebook kind of dude, but. I'm learning the whole internet personality.
And if you want to check the status of all of our streams, in addition to all of our social media accounts, you can go to podcast.gamechumps.tv. You can also go to status.gamechumps.tv, and then I'll give you a listing of all of our streams in addition to, I believe, all of our social media accounts, and just kind of gives you the, again, the most up-to-date information to how to follow us, how to see what's going on, and how to tune into our various streams that we have. And, of course, it allows you to pick your own platform and not say, we're exclusive to this one thing, being YouTube, Twitch, Hitbox, whatever, and this is how you got to tune in. No, we give you the option. We try to make sure we bring the program to you so that you can listen however you please. Of course, I definitely recommend that if you want to tune into the audio-only stream, that you check out the Shoutcast Direct stream, because not only does that give you the best quality at the lowest bit rate, it also gives you the up-to-date track information without you having to do anything, because it appears directly on your screen or mobile application, and it's just the best way to tune in, at least as far as I'm concerned. We optimized it for that method, in addition to Beam.pro, which is how we interact with our users these days, especially since we're debuting on it today. I've been following it for quite some time, and MCP's giving me this weird look like... We had this discussion earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
In the car, yes. Where, if you guys remember the classic movie everybody hates, Last Action Hero, where Arnold Schwarzenegger receives a call.
Say, "Oh, brother, where art thou?"
No, he receives a call. I believe it was from his ex-wife, and he takes out one of the old style cassette recorders, desktop cassette recorders, and puts in a cassette, and it's basically him just going, yeah. And
yeah.
So
that's been our thing for the past few days.
we were just talking about how, especially when you have connection issues or the call isn't just coming in clear enough to where you can quite make out the entire conversation.
And you miss 25% of the entire content where they're trying to
just what you say.
Elaborate to you, and you say, yeah.
Exactly. So MC Percolata, he's with us tonight.
High five.
Rossi couldn't make it to Central Virginia today, and that's totally fine.
He'll make it to another one.
Yeah, he'll make it hopefully to some podcast episode in season 14. And then there's a good old Tenwug, a.k.a. the Northwest Gamer, a.k.a. Tiffany. Are there any other aliases that he goes by?
Old man. I'm pretty sure Tenwug has a small case of schizophrenia from all his videos that I've seen.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what makes them fun. So
you and I have a different taste in fun. A very different taste.
It's all
fine.
It's
all
good.
Your fancy.
It's all good. And then, of course, we have good old Yoshi Blade, who is in Cleveland, Ohio. He certainly couldn't be with us because he's busy working, and he's starting his nursing program, so I'm very excited for him to get that underway.
Oh, so we did get accepted.
What?
Huh?
What? Yeah. Got a stipend.
What?
What did you say?
Huh?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're all very busy, just like you guys, hopefully, and that you're all trying to make it for yourself. MC Percolator coming at you with the facts, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, good lord.
You called?
No, I don't know. It's been a rough week, It's just a lot going on. I'm trying to gather my thoughts at the moment.
You were the one who told me when I talked to you over a week ago about doing the season finale, episode 1309. If you didn't know, that you were going to make sure that you had a ton of topics ready. The question is, do you have a ton of topics ready?
I mean, I could talk about a lot of stuff.
I'm sure you could, but do you
have
politics?
But I don't want to go there on this.
Well, we're not going. Yeah,
we're not going to go there.
This is not.
Why do you want to go there? Why did you suggest that? Why did you bring it up?
I didn't. You did.
That's not what the fans say.
We don't go.
Getting a live feed of texts right now saying, "Why is VinnyMac bringing up politics on his podcast for season finale?" I don't get it.
You know that is a great point, because DJ VinnyMac would never do that, at least intentionally. without being tricked. That's very true. Very true.
Goodness.
So the Game Chumps crew was formulated many years ago and has changed quite a bit. We've had members come and go as we've we've all developed professionally and creatively over the years. But over the last year and a half, I would say, I've kind of been trying to get the Game Chums crew in a more steady state, a more formulated state, to where we can all hopefully work together towards one end goal, and that's to not only talking about, but also working to create content based upon video games, music, technology, and of course, the culture that surrounds it. That's, of course, what the Game Chums crew motto is all about.
Absolutely.
Coming at you with the facts. Hashtag MC.
Yeah. Hashtag MCP.
If you search for hashtag MCP, you'll get some very interesting things. Nothing inappropriate, but just some things.
Why are you gonna bring that up? Why are you gonna make it weird?
I don't think I made it weird.
It's like typing up Dick's Sporting Goods and not getting exactly what you want.
No, that's actually very different, because MCP, again, doesn't
when
really
you type in Walmart, you type in WAL, and then it pops up Walmart. When you type in Dicks, the first thing that pops up is penises.
But how does
weird.
But how does that equate to hashtag MCP? Well, how is that?
Just go with the flow.
I can't.
Just go with it. Just let it happen.
I can't.
Just let it happen.
Because it's not natural. It's not natural.
Oh,
the last time we were actually doing a podcast was all the way back in July. Do you remember that, MCP?
I do, actually. It feels like forever, but I do.
Yep. It was a little over a month ago, and it was in the middle of the night, too. At least for us. Because, again, we're all very busy people. So, by the time 8:30, 9 o'clock rolls around, that's like the middle of the night for us. Because we're almost to the point where we're about ready to pass out. Which is why it's a little unusual that I'm as chipper as I am at this hour. Because
especially
usually,
with the beer and donuts right now.
Because usually I'm at the point where I am punch drunk. Not actually drunk, but I've been working so hard. Yes, drunk on life. I have been working so hard and I've been awake for so long that mentally I can't really...
You're just not all there.
I can't comprehend a real thought. This is true. This is 100% true. And that's why I tried to make a point to try to make the season finale. Again, episode 1309. 1309.
I totally hit the mic.
It's a secret number. 1309.
Don't tell anybody I hit the mic.
Make sure that I was as chipper as possible, because who wants to end a season on a stupor, you know?
What do you mean by stupor?
As in, again, I'm punch drunk. As in, I can't comprehend a real thought. To the point where last episode, as I'm sure you remember, I was thumbing through Instagram frantically, and you were pointing it out to everybody, trying to remember what exactly I was doing over the last quarter, because so tired, been awake for over a day, and I'm sitting here trying to remember what I did just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, goodness. I think that was actually the episode I was like...
You were quite towards the end, yes.
I was zombified.
You were.
Toots.
So, if you'd like to check out that episode, make sure you go to YouTube.
Please tell me you recorded that somehow.
I didn't. No. It's lost forever. Make sure you go to our website at gamechums.tv or VinnyMacRadio.com. It'll point you all to the right place. And check out episode 1308. Yeah. One of the other things I never really get the opportunity to say on the show, because we're always, again, in a stupor. Punch drunk.
Would you elaborate that word stupor? What do you mean by the word stupor? Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
Well, what I'm getting at is just I'm in a state of which I can't really get a decent thought out, or at least one that I hope is what I'm getting out on a live show. There you go. Okay. I hope that helps you.
Only a fraction. Just keep the donut.
Only a fraction. Just eat a donut. I did not actually eat a donut just yet.
Like a piggy.
The funny thing is that before the show, I was actually putting the donuts out on a plate, and MCP was asking me to throw one in his mouth, and I'm like, no, not yet, because
I even had the field goal hands on,
I need to put them on the plate first.
I had the field goal hands. Dude, do you not have any more donuts in that bag?
No, that's all of them.
That's all of them?
That's all of them.
It's a tiny bag for $2.
Not really, because the other ones were a little bit more, and they should have been the same amount in the bag.
Oh, really now?
Really? That's why I asked you to compare the sizes, because they should have been the same.
They were the same size package. I didn't count the donuts. It's like one of those stupid guessing games you had in elementary school where they had the giant jar and said, guess how many gumballs are in here.
If it's the same package size, then it should be the same in terms of overall weight, which means
it's like going to Bojangles and hoping you get more than 4 bow rounds.
Not really. Those are just a little bit apart, but that's okay. It's just donuts. MagFest is pretty delicious right now.
By the way, I'm going on that damn Ferris wheel this year.
Really?
This coming year. I haven't been on it.
Is it open during the wintertime?
I hope so.
I don't know that it is.
Why not? Just because it's cold doesn't mean it shouldn't work.
Because it's fucking cold, and I think that's probably one of the few times I've ever used that word on this show.
I hope that word was bleeped.
No, it wasn't. No, I don't...
It was cold as dicks out there, dude. Like erectile dysfunction cold.
Yeah.
Cold. It was cold.
Although I wouldn't know anything about that, but that's okay.
I mean, as like you can imagine. Never mind.
Well, and also the wind chill was pretty bad too.
Well,
and it's National Harbor. You're on the harbor, so the wind is whipping pretty hard.
Yeah, I made the mistake of packing a pair of shorts and a thin jacket.
What? All right, going back to what I was about to discuss earlier. One of the things I never get a chance to talk about,
at least moral of the story,
at least that often.
Pack warm.
Yeah, pack warm.
A Chewbacca onesie is not enough,
especially if you're going outside
to eat at fine dining.
So one of the things I never really get to talk about is the fact that when I first started doing radio a very long time ago. One of the things that we always centered around, which is why Game Chum's crew is what it is, and that was what it was started for, is focusing around video games, music, technology, and the culture that surrounds it. And one of the things that I started doing even before radio, and even before things like Overclock Remix was founded officially back in 1999, was working one-on-one with individuals who wanted to learn more about music and potentially become an aspiring artist. Actually work towards becoming an artist. Somebody who learned the music, learned how to play the instrument, learned how to properly compose. Mm-hmm. And that's important to note because being an underground host and DJ, behind the scenes, I've continued to do that since Overclock Remix was founded.
Right.
In 99. We've talked about this a little bit, but then just kind of more or less bringing this to the limelight to those who are new to the show, especially on Beam, those who may not know who we are, and that's totally understandable. Because one of the things I've always said is that if you don't know who I am, or know who the people are who associate with the show,
you're doing your job right.
Then I've done my job right as an underground host and DJ. Because I'm trying to make sure that the show and everything we do isn't so big and so mainstream that it loses its value and its point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like Green Day before their what American Idiot album.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with being big and mainstream, but the bottom line is that in being something to that nature, I want to make sure that we try as hard as we can. That yes, we do not lose what it is that we originally set out to do. So, and for me personally, I think I've done very well at that because since Overclock Remix was founded, I've continued to work one-on-one, more specifically outside of rock and roll and traditional rock style instruments like the electric guitar, for example. I've worked one-on-one directly with people in Overclock Remix and those who have wanted to work to become somebody who can actually compose something for a video game or something along those lines or something that just kind of reminisces a game that they may have played or the artwork that particular game shows off, because we all know that there are some games that we've never played, but we've all seen the art for it, and we've all seen some people's fan art versions of that as well.
Like Titanfall. I haven't played it. Heard a lot of good things, though.
But the reason why that's important is because there are tons of games out there
Need to be played.
never been played, but the music and or the artwork for that particular game is just astounding.
Like BioShock. I didn't play BioShock 1 or 2, but I need to.
There's another
And the
another
music,
good example.
music's honestly phenomenal in that game. The art and the music on that game is phenomenal.
One
For
of
everything I've seen.
One of the games that I always talk about that people have heard the game, they've seen the artwork.
Skyrim?
No,
Oh.
is Cave Story.
Cave Story.
They've all heard the music and or seen the artwork or seen what the game looks like, but they've never played it. And they're like, from the music or from the art, it just seems like a very interesting game, but I've never played it. Which is interesting because Cave Story in itself is something you can download for free off of the developer's website.
I'm going to have to check that out.
And you can play it on PC.
Nice. Is it like, can I use it on my keyboard?
You can.
Okay, cool.
And it's not a very difficult game to play either. I mean, it's a 2D game. I mean, it really just uses the arrow keys and I think maybe 4 or 5 keys that you can set on demand. But nonetheless, the music and the combination of the art instilled in the game makes it an incredible story. Aside from the fact that Cave Story is also one of those games that has multiple endings.
I love those kind of games.
And I certainly love those as well. But Cave Story is definitely one of those prime examples of games that the person who has seen the artwork and may have heard parts of the music or at least maybe some of the samples from it and said, this seems like something I might want to compose something for, or may want to take an existing piece from it and turn it into something completely different based upon an idea that they may have. And I've seen that time and time again. And I've, as a result, seen some very creative implementations of things. And that's definitely a good thing. Not that everything has always turned out perfectly, but it's always resulted in something that I certainly never would have anticipated.
These types of conversations make me feel like I need to be way more educated on how to compose and
it's interesting you
write
say
music.
that because everybody when they come to me, especially before they even start working with me directly, they'll just ask some basic questions about how they would get started or how they would try to determine what type of software that they need or what type of just what type of things that they need to actually get started.
and professional advice.
And the sad reality is that I can give them a couple of tips and I can point them in the right direction. But the sad reality is that there are so many pieces of software out there that work very similarly that I usually have to tell them, this is one I use, but I recommend that you try these. It's usually like a handful of 5.
Yeah.
And most of them you can actually play with. You can download for a little while and play with it and see how it works, see the type of things you can do with it.
See how it fits you.
See how it fits you. You may find out that none of them fit you, and it's just because you may be a hands-on person that may not actually be able to take a tutorial to heart and do much with it. Because I myself am a hands-on person. I may look at a tutorial and be like, okay, what now? And that doesn't really help me.
Yeah, I think it's just getting. I guess I can relate that to playing with a new phone.
Sure. That's another good example of the learning process.
Getting a new phone, trying to learn how to navigating the system and doing whatever you got to do.
So my 3 primary digital audio workstations, which is how one would compose music these days. My primary is definitely going to be Fruity Loop Studio or FL Studio.
Fruity Loop.
That's what it's called. Followed by Studio One, and then
Studio Juan.
And then Reason 8. Reason 9 came out back in May, so I'm a version behind, but at least for me, everything that's contained in Reason 8 is going to be just fine for everything that I'm doing. Now, I also use a MIDI keyboard, looks like a little piano, you've seen it, to do all kinds of things. Mm-hmm. I use it more or less to control different parameters within the track as opposed to using it, as an actual instrument to record segments or pieces or whatever, whatever
Right.
into the track, which you could say makes me very different than most people as far as how they might use such a tool. I can't really call it an instrument because it's really a tool. Because
Like me?
Because in itself, sure, in itself, it doesn't produce music. You need a computer, you need software to make it do what it does. So naturally, in itself, it is not an instrument. And I'm very happy with my setup. It's done me very well over the years. Many people forget that before cool software like Fruity Loop Studio came out, we didn't have at least affordable, easily available digital audio workstation software that
Right.
didn't constantly crash.
I mean, it was new, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the other thing, I'm DJ Vince VinnyMac. I am at heart a DJ and a host. And as such, I'm a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the olden days, we didn't have cool software like Tractor or Virtual DJ or Serato or any of the other things that are out there these days. You really had to utilize the hardware that you have in order to do it. And you've seen the console that I started back on in 1997. That thing's very interesting to look
Ancient
at.
dinosaur. I can
those
find other synonyms.
Those are some good terms because back in those days, you didn't have effects mixers.
Jurassic.
Jurassic. You didn't have effects mixers.
Mesozoic. Is that another one? Is that another dinosaur time period?
Sure, why not?
Mesozoic, something like that.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Literally, it's just a console with 2 CD decks in it. Basic mixer, basic audio controls, nothing really fancy. And that thing was incredibly expensive.
I mean, wasn't the first Macintosh computer?
Probably, I'm sure it was expensive. But
I mean, it was some of the first of its kind, wasn't it?
I don't think it was the first of its kind, but I think it was probably the first that was mainstream. The
Or
first
better,
that was
better
readily
example was
available.
like the first cell phone when you had to carry that box. It was retardedly expensive.
Sure. And
I'm trying to create analogies for those who don't understand some of these things.
that's totally fine.
Like me, I don't understand. That's why I'm trying to make that.
So if you followed myself and the Game Chumps crew on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, you'll remember some of the photos that I posted over the last year or so, where I've actually used the console again in some of my live sets because I wanted to make a point, especially to those who may not realize that back in the day, which, to be honest with you, really wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say what you want, but it doesn't really seem that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have all this stuff that makes DJing, and even to some degree, composing music a little bit easier than it was back in the day.
Right.
Back in the day, actually, when I was doing a live DJ set at the, I guess it was the second week of July, when I got back from New York City and Long Island, I actually had to do a very brief DJ set before I went into another DJ set that was back to back, to where I was literally managing 16 individual media players
Ugh.
and working with individual tracks and working with the looping and all that fun stuff.
Sounds incredibly tedious.
It's very tedious, and you can easily mess up.
It sounds like something I would mess up.
Even I could potentially mess it up because you're working with all of this stuff, and one thing goes wrong or one thing doesn't work right.
Well, I feel like one hand, like one intakes finger would go up my nose, and the other one would go up my butthole. Like, I don't know what to do. Put me in front of that stuff and be like speaking Chinese to an Indian.
One of the things I always tell people about DJing,
Which that doesn't go together. That's
is that DJing is all about timing and is about 80% preparation.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a library that at least for the most part, and you're certainly not timing your cues and loops
Right.
and what have you, you're not going to do well at all. Which is why when somebody throws like a new library at me, I'm just kind of like, okay. And I have to look through it to see what they have, to see if it's stuff that I know or if it's a different version of a track that I may be familiar with. Because we all know that, especially radio versions, there could be like 6 different versions of a track.
Well, I mean that could also go that could also translate to a lot of different things. Like, let's say you're going out for a new serving tables job or whatever. You got to memorize the menu. You got to know what you're selling. You have to, if you're going out to be a beer sales rep, you got to know what beers you have to sell. You got to be able to know your product, and that's like you said, like 80% of the game. Just know what know what's in your arsenal, and then you can do well.
And I think that
is better than being uneducated with what you're working with.
You're in a stupor. No, I'm just kidding.
I honestly, like, as of a year ago, I'm still pretty green to this world.
So
I've always been an avid video game player since I was old enough. Like, I've known how to turn on the TV and the console by myself since I was like 3 years old. But
okay. So
other than that, I haven't really dove much deeper into it than just going out and buying the most popular video game, plugging it in.
Sure.
But that's just me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyways.
So one of the things that I always give credit to on the show, because I've certainly worked around them and worked with them and also provided these organizations various levels of support over the years to make sure that they're able to operate the way that they would like to.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely want to also thank such organizations and the people within them, like Overclocked Remix Radio Live, which is an organization that I helped to operate for Overclocked Remix, and Game Chops, and anybody who has any kind of close relation to video game remixing and chiptune, of course.
Well, let's go ahead and give a shout out to the other Game Chumps too, because they're.
I already did.
Well, I'm just saying twice because I want to say something. I want to have something to say that's relevant.
Okay.
Out to the chumps that are doing their own thing right now.
So fine, then I'll also give a shout out to everybody.
Let's give a shout out to DJ VinnyMac, everybody. Vince VinnyMac, right here.
Woo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Round of applause.
Yeah, round of applause. Wow. Of course, who can forget Matsurasu Johnson.
Mm-hmm. And Tenwug, a.k.a. Tiffany, a.k.a.
The Northwest Gamer.
Yep, that guy.
Yeah, and who could forget good old Dan Yoshiblade Lasor.
Yeah.
Out in Cleveland, Ohio.
Why?
I'm sorry. Anyway, and naturally, who could forget the unforgettable MC Percolator?
Who's that guy? I forgot about him.
I heard he's a bit of a chump.
Maybe a little bit of a tool, too.
Why is he a tool? Is it because he works on plumbing systems for beer?
Yeah, you could call me a beer plumber. You could call me. That's what I call myself. I'm like, hey, I'm a draft tech. Like, oh, what's a draft tech? It's like, I'm that pretty much a beer plumber.
So the reason why I bring up Overclock Remix and Game Chops, and anybody that I gotta step aside from that because we're veering off topic and we only have so much time, is because everything that I've ever done has always focused around music, video games, and technology. Again, what Game Chumps Crew is all about. And especially since Overclock Remix started in 1999, I was always directly there, regardless if I showed my face or not. Because again, I'm an underground host and DJ. My job is to make sure that things work and things are the way that they need to be, and step in when I need to, and also try not to make a big deal about it. That's kind of one of the important things about an underground host and DJ. Is doing it, but also not making a big deal about it. When I do stuff, especially when I'm doing it for Overclock Remix or Game Chops, I do it because I love what they do and I love the output. And just like everybody, sometimes they need a little bit of help. And I'm in that field to where not only can I provide it, but I like doing it because, again, I like what they do and I like the output that I see from it. And as such, the show in itself, ever since it started back in the early 2000s, always centered around featuring and talking about the latest Overclock remixes, some of the things that they have going on, and of course also showcasing some of their work. And we also, at every start of the podcast, we do a pre-show where we feature old and new remixes from various Overclock remixers.
Right. And
in the middle of the show, we do that as well. And so I'm very excited to share some of the tracks that I personally have selected for some of the tracks that'll play.
I mean, I'm excited to hear them too. They're honestly pretty rad. I like them a lot.
I do know that it seems like every time we're in the pre-show and you're taking a look at the tracks, you're always like, wow, that's pretty rad, man.
Don't make fun
That's
of my
pretty cool.
pop culture to bring
Who said I was making fun of it?
You said rad.
I was embracing it.
There's a lot of exaggeration and enthusiasm. Making me feel silly.
This is an audio-only podcast, naturally, but if any of you guys actually saw my face right now, that would be...
Or my faces.
That would be...
My many faces.
That would be the type of photo that could be used for blackmail later. So... So we got a couple of tracks we're going to play from our fine folks over at Overclock Remix. It's definitely been a fine year for Overclock Remix and Game Chops and just everybody in general, even though it's been a terrible 2016 with everybody that we've lost along the way. And so we're going to take a quick break. Stay around. We're going to be in the chat here on Beam. If you're coming to us through any other method, through Shoutcast, Hitbox, YouTube Gaming, Twitch, or our VIP stream on Livecaster, stick around. We're going to be on Beam, and we'll be back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the VinnyMac's 9 Radio Show podcast, the most radioactive show on the planet, episode 1309, our season finale, coming to you live from the VinnyMac Productions live studios here in Chester, Virginia. That's right, we're in the home studio for once.
Yeah,
we actually had some cobwebs we had to dust off the microphones, which is true. I think we got it all.
Like, you're in here often, even without the recording. And how did you not notice the cobwebs?
Well, just because I noticed the cobwebs, which I don't, because I'm not, like, in the studio.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't necessarily go, let's dust it off. But no, I'm not actually in the podcast studio. I'm usually in the broadcast space.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
in the performance test studio. And so as a result, I'm not usually in here. So this is our finale. I'm very excited to have you with us. You're either tuned in tonight via... Episode 1309. You're either tuned in via our Shoutcast stream, Hitbox, YouTube Gaming, Twitch TV, or our VIP stream on Livecast, or our new stream here on Beam, which of course is where we're all interacting with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Or at least I hope we all are, as in we all haven't somehow fallen asleep.
I'm not falling asleep, damn it.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Rossi and Tenwug and Yoshi Blade.
This is Rossi's productive time. He does not fall asleep at this point.
Yeah, but that also may mean that he's busy doing other things and not necessarily in the chat. You know how it is. We all get. It's Thursday night. You know, it's the night before Friday when we're, especially people like me, we're about ready to try to get everything settled for the weekend.
Sit down with your Guinness and your donuts.
Sit down with my Guinness and my MagFest Bites is what I'm calling these. MagFest Bites.
Mag Bites.
Mag Bites. That works.
But spell it BITS. Like bit. Like,
don't you mean BITZ?
Whatever.
Magbits.
I tried to be funny.
So yeah,
Speaking of funny, I think I kind of want to tell a story that I heard recently.
Hold on. Before we do that, want to make sure that any of you guys out there who want to make sure that you can follow both myself at VinnyMac Radio and VinnyMac Interactive Entertainment, and of course everybody here on the Game Chumps crew, you can go to VinnyMacRadio.com and GameChumps.tv and check out all the cool stuff we have there, and check out all the social media stuff and all that blah blah blah, all that stuff that you can follow if you want, but I don't care because that's up to you, not me. I'm not all about numbers and followers and subscribers. Mm-hmm. I'm just all about having fun, interacting with you, and, of course, trying to bring out the creativity in video games, music, and technology.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I was waiting for you to say your life motto.
What is my life motto?
Every time I tell you what you want to do...
Well, hold on. Is it what I say at the end of the show?
No.
What's my life? Oh, that motto? No, you're not allowed to say that motto. No.
Is that copyrighted?
No, it's not copyrighted. Actually, it is, just not to me. No, you're not allowed to say that to anybody.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so you were going to tell a story now?
Yeah, I was going to tell a story. I recently went out to a bar to have a beer with my brother, who we live in the same city. We just rarely get to see each other. So we went out for a beer, and we heard a story recently about somebody shitting their romper. This girl, she had to poop, and she just darted out of the room, and somebody came up to the door and said, "Hey, are you okay?" She was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just shit my pants." And she was wearing nothing but underwear and a romper at the time, so she should take it all off, wash it in the sink, and put it back on. And it's like, what are you talking about? Why are you wearing the same thing? You've just shit your pants. Like, I don't want everybody to know. I didn't want everybody to know be obvious that I shit my pants, and I'd have to explain it. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we were talking in that story about to the bar owner, and he said, do I have the story for you? It's totally going to one-up it. So he said back in the day when he was hanging out with his buddies, should I tell the house party story or the jizz shirt story? That's up to you.
I'm not sure where to go with this.
Which one do you want to hear? We can talk about the other one another time.
I guess we could talk about both. I mean, this is a season finale where anything goes, right?
So he was talking about. He said, "All right, I'll tell the house party one. The first time So him and his buddies were in college, and they were walking around. They heard about this party that was happening out there. So they went out to this house, and they were rummaging through stuff and like looking for beer or whatever, and they didn't know anybody at the party, and everybody else was out back at the house messing with the kegger and drinking out there and playing games. So him and his buddies are going through the cabinets and looking through the fridge, and they don't really find much, but they realize that they don't know anybody. So somebody comes in and says, "Hey, who are you?" "Oh no, I'm Tommy's cousin. It's cool." So it's like, "Oh, okay." So she walks off, and they're like rummaging through stuff, and they realize that no one there knows them. So they decide to screw up everything, and they try to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom toilet's clogged, and it's disgusting, and it's filled with number ones and number twos, and so one guy decides to pee in the top deck of the toilet. So that was pretty funny. It's like a number one. It's a number one.
So what is
upper
this?
Decker.
What does this story have to do with the show?
I just think it's funny. I just want to tell a funny story. Am I not allowed to tell funny stories? This is a don't do this at home kind of story where they found a duffel bag under somebody's bed, and then they went in the kitchen, and everything they could open the lid on, like mayonnaise, tomato sauce, beer, spices, anything that they could take the lid off of, they dumped into that bag and shoved it underneath the bed, and then took an ice tray that was stacked up inside the fridge, like like from top to bottom, and then filled it with the toilet water.
This is the type of thing that if anybody ever did this in my house...
Oh, they ended up taking a watermelon and throwing it out the door and booking it out of that house.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what they did to that person. Not that it was funny, because they heard the guy wasn't very nice.
Okay, well, we'll save the other one for later, because that's it's a little more than I think I originally bargained for.
I mean, I'm just saying, that's stuff that I would have never thought of. I would have never thought of doing that to somebody, even if they were mean. Like, I wouldn't even, that kind of thought wouldn't cross my head, as to fill somebody's duffel bag full of everything that you can find in the kitchen that's shaped like a jar with a lid on it.
Although that kind of reminds me, when me and Yoshi Blade went to Phoenix back in May and June, you remember I had the ant infestation problem out in the shed, which also slightly hit the kitchen a little bit, and I really have no idea why, because MCP knows I don't really have that much food in here, because I'm never really here at least long enough to have too much food around. So before I left for Phoenix for almost a month, I removed just about everything from the counter and took it up. Well, put it through the dishwasher again, make sure everything was super, super clean, and put it all in a box and took it upstairs. So basically the entire kitchen, except for, just some of the typical counter appliances and stuff like that, was upstairs in a box the entire month. So when I got home, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. Everything's all upstairs. I need to put it back. But I'm glad to say that since doing that, I haven't really seen any of those they're the little teeny weeny baby ones too, not the big ones. The ones that they get through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
They somehow find it. And I'm not really sure what they're after, because at least where they're going
probably
in here,
for a new home.
It could be, because they're building a new house across the street, and that is when we started seeing those things.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Mag Labs around the corner coming up next month.
Oh yeah,
you're not going.
Sadly, I won't be there,
which is disappointing, because it seems like at least
I will be at Mag Prime though. Sorry, I used all my vacation already.
Well, it seems like at least from everybody from VinnyMac Interactive Entertainment and VinnyMac Productions, looks like I'm going to be the only one there. Now, granted, there isn't a whole lot that I've got to do this time around for Mag Labs, but it's going to kind of suck that there's only going to be a small handful of people that I may want to hang out with, and that'll be about it. Now, MagFest Prime coming up the very beginning of January. Oh, man, that's going to be crazy. If you know me, MCP probably doesn't know me like some people do.
I was expecting to see you the entire time, or at least spend a lot of time with you.
Last
you were
MagFest?
Gone. You were.
I was everywhere.
Everywhere at once. I'm pretty sure you were in two rooms at the same time.
Actually, I kind of was.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who knows me knows that every MagFest I have sent not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but 12 people to MagFest from various communities.
Even Canada.
Actually, that's true. But I mean, like communities as in like video game communities, music communities, things like that. And I usually only talk about one or two of them. And again, it's because I'm an underground DJ and host. I'm not trying to make a big deal about it. But in doing so, I'm trying to better, quote unquote, human society by giving people the opportunity or the means that they may or may not have completely the ability to do it all themselves, the capabilities to go to events like this, in addition to, people I work with one-on-one, so that they can actually go to some of these events, network with some people, have fun, and be among the people that are like-minded, like themselves, to do whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Right.
So, I know you're a little disappointed that you're not part of that group directly.
I mean, it was not part of my, it wasn't destined to be.
Well, at least...
that part of the group, I live... 5 hours from National Harbor? I can drive myself. Somebody lives in LA, it's a little bit more difficult to get there themselves.
Well, it has nothing to do with location. It really just has to do with the whole thing.
Well, at the same time, I'm not requiring your...
No, but you were upset that you weren't going to especially be with us before and after.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what I was more getting at than anything else. Because
I wanted to be at that party.
Because it's not really a party.
Well,
I can't really
a party when it's around
I can't really
VinnyMac.
Okay, fair enough.
It's always a party.
I can't really call it a party because it's more or less getting some folks, and these are people who may have been in the organization or dealing with whatever it is that they're dealing with for a long time, and these may also be brand new people. And that's actually a very important distinction. I try to balance it close to 50-50 if I can to those who have been doing whatever it is they're doing for a long time, and those who are just starting out or haven't been doing it for very long, and of course need the help. Those that I'm sending who have certainly been within the organizations, it's not necessarily I'm sending them because they need the help. It may be, but it could just be that I just want to make sure that they're there and they don't have to worry about things like hotel, food, and the whole logistics nightmare that is MagFest.
Right. I hate how they put some panels on there at MagFest that you need to be at the same time.
Sure.
Like 2 or 3 of them at the same time, and you have to pick and choose which one you would need to go to. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on the one you're going to... I feel like every time I talk to somebody at my MagFest, they always feel like they have some kind of regret sitting inside them because they feel like they weren't able to reach every panel they wanted to get to.
Sure. And, again, being an underground DJ and host, I usually only talk about a very small handful of those, especially on the show, because it's just not really needed. Those that I'm really talking about during the show are usually people that I'm sending for a reason. It could be, like last year, for example, one person in particular was sent because there was a reason to go, and I needed to make sure that he was there. And he needed to make sure that he was there too.
Right.
And most of the time, the people that I'm talking about on the show are those that I'm probably going to be working with directly in some way. It could be one-on-one, or it could just be that I'm helping them out directly in some way or another. And as such, I mention them on the show for one reason or another. So every year I do send 12 people, but I'm probably only going to talk about a very small number of people at any given time. And last year, yes, it is absolutely true. I was definitely everywhere at once. I was definitely in more than one room at one time. And it sucked a little bit because...
Out of the 96 hours we were there, I think I only saw you, 3 times?
Wasn't many. But but I had room blocks, because I had multiple room blocks. It wasn't just one, in both towers. Because if you know how the Gaylord is situated, you have one tower over here, which is one side. Mm-hmm. And then you have the other tower over here. And then you have some of the balcony suites. And then you have the actual convention space and courtyard area.
Right.
And sadly, I was between both towers, so you can't, at least very easily, get between one and the other.
You take the elevator
all the way down.
Walk your happy butt across and get back in the elevator and go all the way back up.
And remember, the elevators are busy all day. 24 hours a day.
You'd probably have to wait there's like 6 elevators on both towers, and they're all packed.
Yeah. So
all of them.
So I had that fun, and for some of the rooms that I'm trying to remember. I think I was on the 4th or the 6th floor on one of them.
I think you're on like floor 20 or something like that.
Well, I did have a block
floor 22,
on floor 20.
If I remember.
I think it was.
No, it might have been Rossi's room.
No, I did have one on that level, but for the levels that were closer to the ground level, I tried to take the stairs as I could because, of course, that'd be much quicker than trying to wait for that flipping elevator.
Yeah, those are pretty. If you had the right soundtrack going on,
and that's the other thing, because I've
the right tunes playing,
because I've had some affiliation with MacFest over its entirety. I was trying to be as conservative as I can with the things that I need to make it happen, with the things that I'm doing for the event, with it, and the people that I'm doing it for and with.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, this year I did not opt for a suite, even though I could get that ahead of everybody else. And that's because I figured that there's probably somebody else that probably could use it more than me and my team.
Like a large group of people coming through or whatever.
Sure. Now, I still have the option in the event that there are some suites left over and people just don't want to pay for them. They don't want to pay that high price just for a suite. But I got enough rooms for the people that I'm going to be bringing and the people that are going to be working the event. And, of course, also got some overflow just in case, like I always do, in the event that I need some additional space and just need to spill it a little bit past the Gaylord.
Yeah.
Because last year I got some additional space at the Hampton Inn and the West Inn, and I got some additional space this year just in case.
I'm actually a pretty big fan of the West Inns. They're pretty fancy.
They are.
I like them.
The Hampton Inn was pretty good too, across the street. Yeah.
I don't think I stepped foot in that one.
And in fact, some of my Canadian guests, they were actually very very surprised by the big and very nice accommodations that I had provided them for their stay.
Slightly off topic, but if you ever find yourself in Atlanta, Georgia, the West End out there is pretty sweet. They have a sundial restaurant at the top. It's awesome. It's cool. I like it.
What were you doing in Atlanta at the West End?
Oh, that was like 10 years ago. Family. It was like my family from Fairhope, Alabama.
Well, that could have been knocked down by now. Huh? That could have been knocked down by now. It's Atlanta we're talking about.
It's an enormous hotel. Really? It was fancy.
Things change.
Well, I mean, I guess I can look it up. I don't want to look it up now.
You don't have to.
We're in the middle of.
If you're in Atlanta, look it up. It's probably still there. I don't know. But I mean, it's also.
We'll find out later.
I'm assuming it's in the city, and I've seen.
Yeah, it's on the heart of it. Yeah.
I've seen major cities do some really bizarre things, especially when it comes to multi-million-dollar buildings.
Yeah, I don't know why they would wreck it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, we're talking about MacFest.
Yeah, so MacFest. So and getting off topic, man.
Hey, it was on hotels, and we're talking about hotels.
Hotels. So I got some overflow, and that's mainly for my guys directly, the people who are working the event.
Right. Yeah, voice crack.
You're growing.
Puberty.
You're a growing boy.
Yeah.
Even though you're.
Say it a third time. Puberty.
I hope everybody's enjoying that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Okay, so we're talking about MacFest.
Yeah, MacFest. Good old MacFest.
Yeah, just keep going.
People have been complaining about MacFest, about how quickly the hotels sold out and how quickly the
gotta be quick, gotta be nimble.
How quickly the badges have been selling out. But the thing is that the hotels, that's not any different than any previous years. They sold out.
Actually, I heard it was like 8 minutes last year for selling out. Oh, 3 minutes for hotel space this year.
It was pretty ridiculous, but it's not any different. You have to remember, there's a finite amount of lodging space for any place.
Mm-hmm.
They can sure build more properties over the years to put people, but until that happens, there's not really anything they can do other than expand outside the area.
Right.
And that's what they do every year. Now, the only thing that's really different about the badge registration for this year is the fact that they moved to a tiered badge purchasing agreement.
Interesting. How did that work?
As in, they basically would say, we're going to first start offering X amount of badges for $50. After those are sold out, we're going to sell them at 55 or 60. I don't recall what the increase was. I think it was either $5 or $10. And after that, it would keep going up. But I don't really feel that that's too different
Doesn't sound
than last
irregular.
year. Because, last year it just worked on the principle of, as time goes on,
Right.
as we continue getting closer to MagFest, the price would go up. So it's a little different, sure. But at the same time, remember, MagFest is a nonprofit organization. They only make enough to operate. It's not like they're making crazy amounts of money to do what they do. They do it like myself because they do it because they love it, not because they're trying to make a crap ton of cash trying to do it
for you.
So sure, you can be mad, you can be upset, but to be honest with you, if you knew you were going to the Music and Gaming Festival, remember, it's a festival, not a con, not
somewhere where you can act like One Punch Man and punch holes through the stall walls.
Yeah, don't do that.
Nope, that's a bad idea.
Because if you do, I will come and find you.
Was it KatsuCon or something like that?
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah,
right before MagFest last year, and
Literally the weekend before.
And they showed the Gaylord Hotel why they are not welcome there, and of course, gave us a reminder not to be like that.
Oh, especially on the hotel bills.
Yeah, especially on the hotel bills, because you don't want to have to pay that.
No, wasn't it like an extra $60 or something and stuff? Stupid like that?
I don't recall what it was.
Yeah.
But either way, that leaves a foul taste in not only the hotel's mouth, but also the folks running the event, because that makes them say, who are the people that are attending these events? We don't, we don't have to deal with that.
Is filled with children, and MagFest is mainly a
it's mainly
rated 17.
It's mainly adult, but kids are welcome as long as they're accompanied by an adult.
Yeah, it's like it's fine. Somewhat of a family event. It's PG rated at that, but a lot of the girls dress like Harley Quinn. I don't think that's PG.
No,
not at all. It was the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, not the Harley Quinn everyone knows and loves.
Yep. So I'm absolutely excited about this MagFest. It is going to be crazy.
Do you think you're going to have more people than last year? Because I know a lot of YouTubers weren't there.
I imagine there probably will be, especially when you consider that MagFest is during its traditional time, which is right after Christmas.
Right.
As opposed to the middle of February.
What was the reason for that? For the later...
They had booking issues with the Gaylord and other events that had already booked time, so they kind of worked with the Gaylord to get the next best thing. And I guess, to be honest with you, it could have been worse. Mid-February was bad, but all in all, even though it was very different than I would have expected, especially when comparing it to previous years, I had a lot of fun. Had a ton of fun with the people I was with, and certainly the people who were there on my behalf had a ton of fun. Good old Yoshi Blade worrying about things he doesn't concern him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like jumping in pools.
Gotta get out of that mentality. Well, not just pools, but just...
I don't think we even went in the pools.
Being around people and people with germs is not a bad thing, just as long as you're taking the appropriate precautions. You don't need to go overboard by washing your hands every 10 minutes and gargling water every 5 to 10 minutes, and then freaking out after 20 minutes about how you're around people and you need to go isolate yourself to make sure you don't get sick. Yeah. On top of taking vitamin C and using wet naps to wipe off the controllers. I get that. That's fine. Because,
there's a lot of germs. People, pick their noses and butts and scratch their testicles and... Like MCP, he does that frequently. That's just a natural... I have wardrobe malfunctions more than often, thank you.
So some of these things are understandable, but don't go overboard is basically what I'm saying. Make sure you take a shower, wear deodorant, and what's the third thing? There's always a third thing, and I always forget what it is. Take a shower, wear deodorant.
Wash your armpits.
Well, wouldn't that be take a shower?
Well, some people just take it. Why would you take one? Where would you bring it?
Well,
it's I'm going to go take a shit.
Doesn't that also
don't take it? That's gross.
But that doesn't also go hand in hand with used deodorant?
Oh, and you can use deodorant and you still not shower for 2 weeks.
But that's why you shower and use deodorant.
Right.
Oh my god. Anyway,
And cologne. That was a snapping point.
No, you don't.
Way,
You don't have to. You don't have to go on the cologne.
Just a light, just one spray in the neck. You're good. But
some people go overboard on that.
So, brush your teeth.
Yeah, they brush your
twice
teeth.
a day.
There you go.
Only twice a day. Once at night, once in the morning. That's all you need.
Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth is a very important
Not
thing
too much.
to do.
Just scrub your enamel off.
Yeah, just scrub it all off. You don't need it. Nope.
That was me imitating scraping my teeth.
One of the things that I know I'm going to have a lot of fun doing for MagFest Prime this year is coordinating meals with everybody. That was fun this past year.
That worked out pretty damn well.
And that's going to be fun this year.
That's cool.
Because there's going to be a lot more people there.
Did we go back to that Irish pub?
Was that the one? I think that was the one we went to when we had our Game Chums dinner.
Yeah,
was that the one?
That was a pretty good one. That was also
when
with
we had
Brownie.
When we had Brownie with us. So
this coming one, we should have a new friend of the group. He was here at MagFest this past year, but his name is Ross Clitsford. Good guy.
What?
Ross.
Who?
You don't know Ross? You'll find Ross someday. You'll meet him. He's a nice guy. He's a mutual friend of Rossi and I. He lives out in the same area I do. Anyways, let's continue.
So we've been talking. We don't have a lot of time to do this, but we've been talking about potentially doing a panel in collaboration with Brownie, who also does a podcast about film and television. It's television.
And another one. He also has another podcast stream channel called Press A to Play.
Yes. Collaboration.
Rossi has done with him for a long time.
Collaboration. A panel collaboration between Brownie, Press A to Play, Game Chums crew, VinnyMac Interactive Entertainment, and everything that goes on between that, because we do very similar things.
Your snobs are welcome.
And we also do things very differently too.
Indeed.
And that's something that I'm sure if we do apply and do get the approval to do a panel of such, that's some of the things we'll be talking about. In addition to the fact, thank you, MC. In addition to the fact that we'll be talking about how we're able to do it, even though the fact that we're all severely geographically separated from each other.
That's where MagFest becomes beautiful and brings us all together.
So I don't know 100% if we're going to do that. I'm kind of leaning against it, not because I don't want to do it, but because there's always a dependability issue. Primarily with the fact that MagFest is a crazy event. And I myself, this is more an issue with my part and an issue with everybody else in the sense that I have a ton of stuff to do. I have a ton of people that I'm going to be with and have to be responsible for. And same right back at everybody else.
You don't have to babysit me.
Has nothing to do with babysitting.
Responsible adult.
Responsible. Oh.
To a degree.
To a degree. Well, this is true. Sometimes I have to smack the back of your head.
With the backhand.
There you go. With the back of my hand.
Like
and actually, that's exactly how I did it here. There you go.
Hand slap.
That's right.
Right to front.
You want me to actually do it?
Go for it. Hit me.
No, I don't want to hit you.
No, you have a ring on. No, don't do that.
No, yeah, that's true. That's my ring hand. You don't want that. So, aside from Mag Labs coming up middle of September and MagFest Prime the very beginning of January, for me, it's really just continuing all the stuff that I do with the people I work with one-on-one, supporting the organizations that I do directly, and, of course, making sure that Overclock Remix Radio Live continues doing what we do, and that's bringing you Overclock Remix tracks 24 hours a day, every day of the year without prioritization. That's kind of the important thing. I have heard so many Overclock Remix tracks that I had never heard before, that I never would have heard on Rainwave or any other radio station platform that's streaming Overclock Remix, because I'm not prioritizing the tracks. That's one of the things I think it's cool, but I hate at the same time stations that do that gives you the capability to vote.
Right.
Because you're not really able to hear those underground tracks or those not so popular tracks that nobody else just doesn't know about.
Which I think is fair, but unfair to some people. Because I mean, it just randomizes, right?
What, me?
The whole OC remix.
You mean OC Remix Radio Live?
Yeah. It just randomizes, like picks and chooses
No.
whatever. Just
What
snags one out of one area.
No,
snags
what
another.
it does, and actually this is the cool thing about Overclock Remix Radio Live and how it works. And I was actually
say that 5 times fast.
And I was actually showing somebody this the other day because I thought this was so cool. Because this is not, I would say that this is not common in audio and radio automation software.
No.
And well, let me describe what we do. It actually takes the entire library, and remember, we update it regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Try to anyway. You know how that goes. But it actually takes the entire library and it looks at the entire thing, and instead of just randomly pulling it, it looks at the entire library, sees what the least played track actually is based upon the entire library.
I wish my phone would do that.
So the least popular track, or the track that isn't being played as much as the other,
right,
has priority over anything else. So it's not random in the sense that it just picks, from here, here, and here.
Everything.
It literally looks at the entire library, says, out of everything that we have and everything that we've ever played, what are the tracks that we have? And it compiles them into a group at that point and says, what are the least tracks that we haven't played, and adds them into the rotation, and also does it in such a way that it analyzes the tracks so it can, much like a DJ would do, so it can properly transition between one and another.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen some cases where that doesn't really work out too well because some of the tracks are poorly ended and there's no real way to do that. But naturally, it does very well all the parameters that I throw at it to make it work the way that it does, and try to make it as high quality. I'm very proud of the 32K AAC stream, which is the lowest bitrate stream that we have available.
Cool.
But as far as I'm concerned, you get almost just as good quality with 32K as a full 320K AAC stream. Somebody not too long ago asked me how we were able to achieve that. And I looked at him and I said, well, number one, you know that a lot of this is under magic. A lot of this is under NDA. But if I were to explain to you how this really works, I would literally be throwing money out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And in their face.
Well, yeah, in their face, because they would potentially be able to use
it.
Be able to use it for their own benefit.
Yeah.
And this.
So it's magic. It's magic. These are speared, like the more you know kind of fingers, like throwing them out in the air like a rainbow.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the 32K AAC stream is completely lossless and that it is 100% quality to the 320. No, but to your typical audio engineer, and I've had a ton of professional audio engineers come to me and talk to me about this, they say, wow, for a 32K stream, this is pretty amazing.
Pretty awesome.
So much like for the VinnyMac's 9 Radio Show podcast, for our Shoutcast stream, that is what we typically use. For our direct stream is 32K AAC stream.
Or Hitbox, like I like to use. Hitbox,
yeah, but we're talking about
my fancy.
But we're talking about audio only though in this case.
Oh, that's right. Well, I mean, Hitbox is audio only. Too,
yes, but they're doing their own thing, and that's fine. But we're just talking about how we're trying to bring the program to everybody with the lowest bit rate, but also with the highest quality.
That's right. That's right.
So, and also, again, with Shoutcast, remember, Shoutcast is a directory listing, and Shoutcast in itself, at least what a lot of people remember them as, comes with a suite of tools, but we don't really use the tools. We just use the directory as a means to list it to the world. We have our own tools and our own codecs that we're using to bring it to the people. So, and actually, I was fiddling with my old AT&T iPhone. It's a 3GS.
Oh my god!
So
you did show me that.
So it's a 3G only phone, and
dinosaur.
because it's running an ancient version of iOS, it's the latest for its model. It can only support MP3 streams. So I can run. I guess technically I have the original Shoutcast app that was available for iPhone at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But
wow, another voice crack. There it goes.
But our officially supported mobile app for our VinMac's 9 Radio Show podcast and also over Remix Radio Live is Zaya Live, also Exia Live, depending upon how you want to pronounce it. And you can, of course, check that out at VinnyMacRadio.com and OCRemixRadio.com. All you got to do is search VinnyMac's 9 or OC Remix Radio. Make sure you're connected to the Shoutcast directory. And assuming that we're broadcasting, you should be able to see any and all the various Shoutcast streams that we have available to you. And again, the 32K stream is our preferred because it gives you the lowest bit rate with the highest quality. Meaning, especially if you're on mobile data or in an area where the mobile data just isn't great, you should have a decent listening experience. Very exciting. Very exciting stuff indeed. MCP is nodding his head and he is texting his heart out.
Will you calm yourself?
I can't. I'm so excited.
I'm just saying.
And I hope
people need me. And I'm listening at the same time. Yeah.
For those of you guys,
eat your donut and a half.
My donut and a half.
Yeah, you only got half.
I still have to drink my Guinness here.
Yeah, all right. It's gotta be warm by now. I've been doing this for a little while.
That's a good thing about Guinness bottles is they keep it cold at least for a decent amount of time.
Indeedy dandy.
Indeedy dandy.
Doody dandy doo doo.
So one of the things that me and MCP have talked about is after this very
MCP
podcast.
and I is correct English.
Grammatically, yes, but remember, this show isn't necessarily supposed to make sense.
It's all about Vinny Mac, DJ.
No, it's all about the people.
Yeah,
I'm just the host. And
am I a co-host? Am I a host? You're a host. Does that make me a host?
Makes you a hostess cake.
Hostess. I'll take that.
I'll take that.
No, variety of delectables.
So me and MCP and a few other of the chumps have talked about, to some degree, what's going to happen after this very podcast. Because after this podcast ends, a lot's going to be in the unknown. We're not sure if we're going to continue the podcast. We're not sure if we're going to do a panel at MagFest. We would like to, but it really depends upon if you guys think we should. Because naturally, we're not going to go to all the crazy preparation that's required to do that if nobody's gonna want to actually be a part of it.
Freaking do it.
Yes, but we need the people and their support and their want to be a part of the Game Chumps crew. One of the things that we did talk about is after season 13. Hold on. One of the things we talked about is after season 13, the VinnyMac's 9 radio show podcast is actually going to be ending for good.
No.
Because, at least the plan, and this all rides on the people, so if they don't want it, we're not going to do it.
This is all news to me. Don't tell them yet. This is all news to me. I'm learning it this second.
Well, you and I have talked about it briefly, but you're now
briefly.
But you're now getting the full gist of it. So we've talked about ending the VinnyMac's 9 radio show podcast because, at least from the forefront, it looks like the original format of the show has shifted dramatically in a good way. That we're going to do a full-time Game Chumps crew podcast and everything that surrounds that. Now, that is the hope, that's the goal, but we're not 100% sure if that's what we're going to do. MCP is giving me this really excited look.
Like schoolgirl.
Like 10 boy. That's exactly what he would do in this situation.
No, not like that. never like Connor. No. That's one of his other personalities. He was born Connor, but lives as Tenwug, so sometimes he's Connor. I don't know. It's a weird lifestyle he lives.
Sometimes it's Tiffany.
Tiffany.
So yeah, the idea is that we'll be doing not necessarily a full-time podcast, but we're going to be focusing more around the Game Chumps crew, and naturally calling it more.
Bringing that team together and trying to shine light to it, trying to move on and evolve, you know?
Yeah, to some degree. So, VinnyMac's 9 radio show podcast, and the show itself, at least for now, and our season finale, episode 1309, looks like we're coming to hopefully a very exciting, very formal close for once.
Sweet.
It's a bittersweet symphony, like the song.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
You know the song, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He's doing that thing. He's doing that
Just
thing.
Just drink your Guinness.
Mm.
Nom, 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 nom. Anyway, so you got to finish those donuts.
Now I can go.
Just shove it in your mouth. Just shove the little mag bits.
Mag bits, yeah.
Mag bits in your mouth.
Magfest bites.
In your bite hole, in your pie hole.
My
Magpie hole.
magpie hole.
Just shove it in your mouth.
So
Don't smack. Don't smack.
I only do
the
that.
Worst sound in the world.
I only do that for MCP because he hates us so much.
It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's like where that and styrofoam rubbing together. It's like the two sounds I can't handle. Makes my hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's like feline.
So I will hopefully see you guys at MagFest Laboratories middle of September at the Alexandria Hilton Marks Center in Alexandria, Virginia. Unfortunately, as we discussed in this podcast, MCP doesn't have enough vacation time to make it, and Rossi and Tenwug and Yoshi Blake are just too far away right now to actually make it, and that's fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm moving around that time, so finances and a few other things have gotten in the way of that.
But that's okay. I hope you'll stop me. You'll want to hang out, chill. And you know what? It's still summer. The middle of September, it's still warm enough to where you can enjoy the outdoor pool.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually
last year.
And it's actually an indoor-outdoor combo pool. So partially,
it was a little chilly last year, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, but we got in and it was cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It's partially inside and partially outside. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people forget that there's even a pool, and even at MagFest Prime, nobody,
12 people in the pool when we got
nobody remembers there's a pool at MagFest Prime, and it's pretty nice.
I'll have to go into it this year, this coming season. But
so
anyways.
hopefully I'll see you guys. I'm hoping to get in the pool. I'm gonna, even though it's been a while now, I'm gonna try to keep my.
You treat it like you just got it a week ago.
I only do that to continue to bring out the colors.
I know.
So what we're talking about is my Ubuntu Unity 3D tattoo I got done in Phoenix, Arizona, the 1st of June, the day before Phoenix Comic-Con. And yes, I kind of baby it a bit because it's something I like more and more every day because it really says who I am. Go to VinnyMac.org if you want to actually learn more about it because there are some pictures and a little bit more of a description as far as why I did it. After 12 years of thinking about it, and of course the entire process, which was awesome from my perspective. So, see you guys next month in MagFest Laboratories. We'll again not sure 100% the state of the podcast because we still have to talk about it and figure out what we're going to do. Naturally, don't forget that we still need to submit our stuff for a potential MagFest panel at MagFest Prime. So
we're expecting to all be there. There may or may not be one of us missing at that point, but let's hope it. We're crossing our fingers everybody can be there.
So if you think we should, let us know. You can always go to VinMacRadio.com and GameChumps.tv and follow us the various ways you can on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course, utilize those methods to reach out to us, get more information, and just have a good time. So, I'm DJ Vince VinnyMac on behalf of everybody here at VinnyMac Interactive Entertainment, Game Chums crew, the whole shebang. Mm-hmm. I want to thank you, myself, MC Percolata, Rossi, Tenwug, Yoshi Blade, and last but not least, Overclock Remix, Game Chops, Overclock Remix Radio Live, and the fine people who helped to make the technological chaos that is VinnyMac Radio Show podcast a success. I got to thank the people at the VinnyMac Interactive Entertainment Monitoring and Control Center in Huntsville, Alabama for monitoring the technicals behind the stream because there is an insane amount of stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make this show work the way that it does. So I want to thank them. I want to thank everybody. This has been a crazy show. It's been a crazy season. It's gone throughout the entire course of the year. Mm-hmm. We started it the day before Mag Classic of last year.
Oh, yeah. That was
insane.
That was a late night.
That was a very late night for me because I had to be awake the entire night and also drive and be...
Slept in your recliner.
Yeah, you did.
So God, that was a year ago.
It was almost a year ago. Not quite.
Almost a year ago.
Close. Any closing remarks, MC Percolata?
Nothing more than it's honestly, it's been a wild ride. It's been fun. It's I wish I could have been here for all the episodes that we've aired live, but
some of them.
I'm looking forward to everything that has to do with the Game Chumps and the music industry that we're working with and MagFest events. year round, and a whole lot of et cetera, because I might have lost of words, honestly.
That's right.
Just eat your donut.
eat my
Yeah.
my last Magfest bites. Whatever.
All right.
So I also gotta thank everybody else who tuned in on our other platforms like Shoutcast, YouTube Gaming, Hitbox, Twitch TV, our VIP stream on Livecaster, and of course you fine folks here on Beam. Those that we've been interacting with tonight. You guys have been crazy, but always a pleasure.
That's some funny remarks.
And some funny remarks, absolutely. So I always end the show. You know this. Which is why it's always fun.
I'm not quoting it.
I don't want you to quote it. Which is why when I always end the show, you always say something right after it, and I have to be like, no, bad dog. So I want to thank MC Percoleta from coming up all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina, to be a part of the season finale, episode 1309 of the show.
Up top.
Ow!
Then hit the mic.
Ow! That hurt actually. Quite more than I thought it would.
Anyways, you're saying.
Yeah, I was saying. Ooh, that hurt.
Oh, man.
Throw some hot water on this in a little bit. It really did hurt that much. So, we always end the show. I'm the one and only DJ Vince VinnyMac. Thanks so much for tuning in to VinnyMac's 9 Radio Show podcast, the most radioactive show on the planet, episode 1309. As always, stay true to yourself, keep it real, and we'll catch you next time. We're out.